So, Amelia, how are you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, just to dive straight into the questions, would you be able to tell us a bit about your experience of the last year and what you found most challenging and enjoyable about completing the Arts Award?
Okay, well, last year was obviously very challenging for everyone, what with the COVID situation, and people went through tragedy and loss with their friends and family. But what was really hard for me was that my education suffered because I'm homeschooled and we weren't allowed to get any results for our GCSEs that we were taking. So I had to take my GCSEs in the November series. And
Mhm.
the same thing has happened this year. So I'm going to have to take my exams in the autumn at the same time as studying for my A-level courses.
Oh,
Um,
right.
so that was probably the worst thing that happened to me this year. To do with my arts award, well, I did my arts award in a variety of different art forms, and I really expanded my skills in lots of different areas. And I think that this made me really improve as an overall artist, which I'm very happy about. The most challenging thing was probably that I attempted to write my own comedy song. And it's quite daunting, really, when you've never written music before and suddenly you've given yourself the challenge like that, especially as the fact that my lyrics were about a blues song. So I sort of had to write about that. I had to write a blues song, and I don't really know anything about blues music.
Mhm.
So giving myself that added challenge just made it that little bit harder. Um, I almost thought, I don't have to do this. I could give up, but I don't really like to do that. I like to finish what I've started. So I did persevere, and actually, I'm very happy with the results. And I think that the Arts Award made me push myself to do something that I might not otherwise have achieved. So I'm
Mhm.
very happy with that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's difficult to choose the most enjoyable thing because I really enjoyed the entire Arts Award. I had a
Mhm.
central theme of comedy, and I really enjoy and love watching, and I'm really interested in comedy. So basically, I had a whale of a time the whole year. Um, I think probably the most enjoyable thing was that I wrote my own sketch. And I wrote a couple of these when I was quite a bit younger. And I feel like this one was really a step up from those. And it was very funny, really, to think about all the problems that can happen in a Zoom classroom, especially as I'm homeschooled and I've never, you know, actually really used the Zoom classroom. It was fun to take a part that was so different to who I actually am.
Mhm. Well, I'm glad you decided to persevere, and that's been reflected in your nomination for the Youth Choice for Arts Award. Um, what's your current involvement with comedy and music, and if any projects are you currently working on?
Well, I'm currently just starting my Gold Arts Award, which I'm going to do in songwriting. So really, I was inspired by the fact that I pushed myself to achieve writing a song in my Silver Arts Award, and I thought, hey, I could take this further. I can do this. And well, I haven't written another blues song. I think what I've written is probably most best described as indie pop, but it's
Mhm.
really enjoyable, I found, actually, and a lot easier than I thought it could be. You just sort of let it happen. And I am really enjoying that. So I've been writing a few of those and I've been putting them up on my YouTube channel, which is Millabout. And yeah, I really enjoy writing the lyrics for those because I liked writing poetry ever since I was very small, and it's quite similar. Although there are differences, like enjambment doesn't really work, and I found it
Mhm.
uh, interesting exploring what I can and cannot do in lyrics, which I might do in a poem. So yeah, comedy. I haven't really written anything recently, although I do have plans with a friend to write and perform a sketch show once COVID's over. Um, I've still been watching and enjoying a lot of comedy, and I'm hoping that after lockdown, open mic events will start happening again, and I can go to them and watch other beginners
Mhm.
doing their material, and maybe even have a go myself. But I think it might take me a while to get the courage to do that.
Well, I'm sure if once open mics do resume, that'll be definitely a big learning experience for yourself and one that'll be very useful, I'm sure. And finally, what does it mean to you to be selected for TrinityTalent and recognised as the Youth Choice for Arts Award?
Well, it's a huge honour, really, and honestly, it was a big surprise. It's always nice to be recognised for something you've put a lot of work into, but I was very flattered. I think I had so much fun doing my Arts Award. And I think it's such a great qualification because it's not restrictive and it allows you to do what's best for you. That really being picked for TrinityTalent was the icing on the cake, as it were. And then being picked as one of the youth choices was the cherry on the icing. And it's really flattering. And also the fact that being picked for the youth choice means that I was picked by my peers. And I think that they're probably the hardest group to impress. And that made me feel very proud of what I've achieved. And I hope that other people see what I've achieved and think, I could do that, because it's really fun and it improves your skills in so many areas while still letting you march to the beat of your own drum. And I think that lots of people should try and do these arts awards that, from my experience, not many of my friends have really done.